probably two parts to the answer, the same as what I was just saying. Two benefits. One is the benefit of compassion, and the other is the benefit of finding out what the painful emotion is saying to us. They're not completely separate, but we can think of them as different. How compassion works is, I sit with you in your pain. That's what compassion is. God's compassion is, God comes to be with us in our pain, which is what I said at the beginning. That's who Jesus is. Jesus is God come to be with humanity in humanity's suffering. That's who the incarnate Jesus is. I mean, that's his nature. That's his identity. Is compassion. So we place ourselves in compassion and in that part of the plan of God, which is really kind of all of the plan of God, when we sit in our painful emotions. Two kind of things happen in tandem here. One is we need to have a certain knowledge of compassion in order to do it. We'll never, until we've received some compassion from somewhere, we'll never be able to bring ourselves to sit in our painful emotions, because you just wouldn't. There's no way you would. But the other thing that happens is, as we sit in it, our compassion grows. Our capacity for compassion grows. Our knowledge of compassion grows. So that the two things sort of grow together. It's sort of like I've got this much compassion and this much pain. So I try to sit in that much pain, but the compassion grows a little bit more, and then there's going to be another opportunity with more pain. It's going to need this much compassion, and it hurts because there's a gap. But if I choose on the basis of knowing this much compassion to sit in this much pain, my compassion increases. It actually will it'll grow. It'll give me the capacity. Gosh, is this sounding awful? Like we're going to be sitting in more and more pain? But the thing you don't understand, if you don't live in compassion, if you don't live with compassion, is that this experience of pain with compassion is not a bad thing. And it's not something that you would avoid. Compassion is such a beautiful, rewarding, heavenly gift that you're not going to believe me. I know you're not going to believe me, but you'd actually, prefer to have pain so you can have the compassion. You're not going to believe me. But this is what the saints say. All the saints, when they reach the pinnacle of God's grace, all say how much they love suffering. Sorry, I can't avoid can't avoid that, because it's just what they say. It's a fact. We think they're insane, but this is what's happened to them. And maybe you do get a glimpse of it. I mean, when you're in pain, and somebody that loves you comes and comforts you and is with you in that. It's a beautiful, beautiful experience, isn't it? It doesn't take away the pain, but you might even find yourself saying that you were glad to have that pain so that you could have that beautiful experience of being loved in that place. I mean, every human being not every, but most normal human beings have had that experience. And it's a little clue of what the life of the saint is like when the compassion of God has flooded them. The second part of the answer, it's like what I was saying about anger. Our painful feelings have so much to say to us about where our life should be headed, about what it is in our life that's in need of healing, about what's mistaken in our view of the world that could be corrected. The thing is, though, our painful emotions do not tell us these things through our heads. If I sat here and tell you what's wrong with your beliefs, that might just be annoying. But when our emotions tell us this, it actually sets us free to live a different kind of life. when your emotion, your painful emotion, your sadness, for example, says to you, when it really is your sadness telling you and not your head that your perception about what's good for you was actually not right, then it's just the way it works, that it's your sadness, your painful emotions speak to you with power, and they change you when you listen to them. It's not like reading a book where the knowledge can just stay here. When I hear my sadness tell me that what I wanted wasn't actually really what was good for me, when it's actually my sadness that tells me that, not my head, then I believe it. Then I know it. Then my whole life is changed. My whole attitude to the world is changed and healed through my sadness saying that to me. So that's why we should sit in and with our painful emotions, but never forget the compassion side of it. That thing of listening to what the painful emotion has to say, we're never going to be able to do that without the compassion first.